Anarchy. This term has been tossed around with a lot of other words, none of which are, shall we say, very endearing. Death, destruction, rape, murder, plunder, turmoil, pestilence, child trading, deception, chaos, and all manner of evil deeds. But is anarchy really the sum of these words, or is it something more? Could it be a system that allows for a better way for society to pursue its endeavors?
But, how would an anarchistic society work? And, for God's sakes, who would build the roads?
Why, that's a good question there, Johnny. But to truly answer your question, we need to shed ourselves of some of the misconceptions associated with anarchy. Okay, let's be real. Why do we think anarchy means destruction and chaos? The same reason why democracy is seen as a peaceful system, despite the numerous wars that have been done in the name of democratization. Propaganda. We think the state is the expression of society's will, so without the state there is no society. People are convinced some humans are inherently evil, yet ignore the fact that humans make up the state. People have grown content in their servitude towards their masters, simply because it's always been that way. There are good reasons for being skeptical of anarchy, though. When states break down, there is always violence. All massive social upheavals have a violent element to them, after all. However, in the 20th century, whenever we see states breaking down, all we see is the violent phase, since other states will intervene before the violence has a chance to phase away, as is the case with Somalia. And so, since all they see is the violent phase combined with the misconception that the state is the manifestation of society, people only see anarchy as violent chaos. When you buy a good or service, you pay money in exchange for it. However, what about someone who takes your money first, without asking, and then only later offers you a service in return? This service may not be how you wanted it, if you wanted it at all. It may not even be for you, so you get nothing for your money. That, Johnny, is taxation. Imagine for a moment that there was something you needed. Let's say it's a road. A road benefits everyone in a community. We could all pool our resources together and finance a road for our community like they did in Harappa or medieval Iceland. By pooling our resources, we also get more say in how we want the road to be built, where we want it to be built, and so forth. But if we have the state do it, everyone is forced to pay for a road whether they want to or not, and the members of the community have no say in its construction, placement, or upkeep. When the people take things from you without your permission, that is theft. Taxation is just a cute euphemism to mean theft by the biggest bully with the biggest gun. Furthermore, what if the state mismanages the roads? If someone other than the state messes up, accidentally or even maliciously, you can bring them to court. But the state always controls the police and the courts. So if the state controls the courts and the police and the roads, do you really think that you will get a fair trial if they mismanage the roads? But people are okay with this monopolization and theft, or simply deny it, because the state gives you things in return. However, if I wanted a library because libraries are good, I may try to persuade you to help build or pay for the library. I may donate money to build a library, but is it okay for me to hold a gun to your head and make you pay for a library? And then command sole authority over that library, no less? No. And that, Johnny, is taxation. We won the war, didn't we, Johnny? We invaded Iraq. We overthrew the Iranian government. I don't know about you, Johnny, but I didn't kill Mossadegh, and I'm pretty sure I never went to Baghdad. I didn't provide subsidies to corporations, and I didn't bail out the banks. The state did. But what is the state? The state is just the label we give to a series of institutions and bureaucracies made up of individuals. Society is much the same way. Without individuals coming together, there is no society. However, there can be individuals without society. The state needs a society to rule, but a society does not need a state. Individuals beget society, which thus begets the state. So if the state is just made up of individuals, then the state doesn't act, in that it has no real decision-making abilities. Individuals can make decisions and follow orders because they have brains and minds with which to think. But society has no real nervous system, and neither does the state. Saying, "we" won the war, or we overthrew Mossadegh, is wrong. A dramatic example would be this. If we made all those evil decisions, then that would mean all civilians are guilty of the crimes of an entire government. If that democratic myth were true, then we must consider the attacks on the World Trade Center an act of justifiable self-defense.